I claim a blessing. We're working on the screens right now, so every once in a while you're just going to say, I claim a blessing. So
Yeah.
if you would please join us in.
1, 2, 3, 4.
In the morning when I get out of bed, I claim a blessing. I claim a blessing. I claim a blessing.
Just like that.
Before I even lift my head, I claim a blessing. I claim a blessing. I claim a blessing. And this is how I start the day, knowing good is on the way. I am claiming perfect health, love and laughter, friends and wealth. In the morning when I get out of bed, I claim a blessing. I claim a blessing. I claim a blessing. Before I even lift my head, I claim a blessing. I claim a blessing. I claim a blessing. With conviction undeterred and power of the spoken word, take my life and redefine, break the shackles of my mind. In the morning when I get out of bed, I claim a blessing. I claim a blessing. I claim a blessing. Before I even lift my head, I claim a blessing. I claim a blessing. I claim a blessing. Ooh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Ooh, yeah. Well, I lift my thoughts to higher ground, knowing miracles are all around. Each day unfolds just as it should when I'm focusing on my good. Life is filled with opportunity. I wonder what good is coming to me. Yeah, I claim a blessing. I claim it. I claim a blessing. Oh, I claim a blessing. Ooh, I claim a blessing.
All right, well, I see we still don't have the TVs working, so good job. I heard you all saying, I claim a blessing out there in the spirit. It was wonderful. If you would please join us in our statement of faith. Together now, there is only one presence and one power in the universe and in my life, God the good, omnipotent. Please join us for our second song, There Is Only Love by Michael Gott.
In this moment, in this place, I remember who I am, letting fear and worry fall away from me. I open my eyes to see there is only love. There is only love. Love that heals, love that sets us free. There is only love. When I lose myself, when it seems I've lost my way, when I go inside and quiet my mind, I can hear Spirit gently say, there is only love. There is only love. Love that heals, love that sets us free. There is only love. There is only love. There is only love. Love that heals, love that sets us free. There is only love. There is only love. There is only love. Love that heals, love that sets us free. There is only love. There is only love. There is only love. Love that heals, love that sets us free. There is only love. There is only love. There is only love. There is only love. There is only love.
Thank you. You may be seated. We are having a meeting immediately after church for the cold weather shelter. If you would like to, if you're joining us, would you please raise your hand so that we can order the correct amount of pizza? 1, 2, 3, I can't get past 4. All right, that's good. Thank you. Well played, people. Yeah. Not yet. Haven't told her.
She's sitting back there. Good morning. Please take a moment to check in on Facebook and tell your friends that you are here enjoying this beautiful day at Unity of Springfield. And then if you could silence your phone or turn them completely off, it would be appreciated. We are currently asking that you still wear a mask while in the building, whether you're vaccinated or not. And this will be a test to see how many of you know our mission statement by heart. So here we go, our mission statement together. Our mission is to encourage and inspire spiritual and personal growth by empowering each other to be authentically all that we came here to be. We did a great job. All right. Today's affirmation, I'll say it once and then we'll say it together for those that like to speak it as a group. So today's affirmation is, I give generously with an open heart. Together, I give generously with an open heart. There is a constant flow of giving and receiving at work in our universe. So whenever I make the decision to give, I am also getting something in return. Even the air I breathe illustrates the law of circulation at work. Plants release the oxygen we must have to live, and as we exhale, we transform it into the carbon dioxide they need to thrive. Without the exchange of giving and receiving, neither would survive. I remember this as I give. My generosity fills my heart and helps me realize my prosperity. I open my heart wide to the dynamic flow of life, generously giving what I have to share of my time, my talents, and my treasure. In giving generously, I receive abundantly. The gifts of joy, love, and peace are mine. The scripture today is Luke 6:38. Give, and it will be given to you. A good measure pressed down, shaken together, and running over will be poured into your lap. For with the measure you use, it will be measured to you. And again, our affirmation, again, I'll say it, and then you can repeat with me. I give generously with an open heart. Together, I give generously with an open heart. Look how adaptable and flexible we are today. I love it. So during our prayer and meditation time, please hold the following in prayer for their highest and best experience of life: Rod, Angie, Kat, Shirley, Cindy, Tom, Mary Lou R., Mary Lou H., Baby Husfa, Derek, Delia, John, and anyone else who appears in your mind. Allow the beautiful, peace-filled tones of our prayer bowl to center you as we begin to move into a time of prayer and meditation. As the sound and vibration from the prayer bowl begin to fade away, we center our minds on the Christ presence within each and every one of us. All persons are worthy and deserving of the abundance of the universe. Inhale, hold, exhale. Inhale, hold, exhale. Begin to relax your body, starting at the top of your head. Relax down through the forehead, ears, eyes, jaw. Relax your neck and shoulders. Roll your neck and shoulders to release any tension you're holding there. Follow and relax your arms, wrists, fingers. Return your attention to your heart and lungs. Relax your chest, abdomen, thighs, knees, calves, ankles, and toes. Inhale, hold, and exhale. For those whom prayer was requested, we affirm their healing, prosperity, and guidance. Every person on this planet desires safety, love, family, and friendship, opportunities to thrive, and a sense of well-being. We affirm these gifts to be present for all peoples. May all be accepted, blessed, respected, and valued. We call forth peace of mind and peace on earth for ourselves and all others. Maintaining our consciousness of prayer and allowing our relaxation and prayerfulness to remain, let us continue into meditation. As you continue to breathe slowly and deeply, let your attention rest gently on your breath, feeling the movement as it enters and exits your body. On your next exhale, settle your attention to the area around your heart. Focus on the feelings of love, compassion, empathy, forgiveness. With your attention on your heart center, bring to mind something or someone that you are grateful for. Just give gratitude the chance to come up naturally, and when it comes up, just let yourself sink into that feeling. Surrender to it. Notice how it feels in your body, how your energy feels. And if it doesn't come up, that's okay. You don't need to make yourself force it. Just surrender to feelings of your heart, not your head. Be aware of your heart beating, pulsing, filling with love and compassion and peace, and allow that to flow back out. Perhaps you are grateful for the abundance of nature that produces food to nourish your body and beautiful scenery to nourish your soul. What about your tears, your sorrows, in the strength that you seem to be able to muster every day to make it through, and the lessons that you learn along the way? Bring attention to people who truly nourish you in your life and how they bless you just with their presence. To material things that come to you unexpectedly, and things that flow to you with great effort and commitment through action and hard work. Think of all the love in your life and your connection to those things that are sweet and loving and align with principle, those things that just feel right. Bring your attention to how this gratitude feels in the area around your heart. With each inhale, let this feeling grow outwards, expanding to fill your chest, your arms and hands, legs and feet. Allow this feeling to grow with each and every breath in the silence. When we no longer take life for granted, we become grateful for everything we have and every now moment.
I want to thank Jacob again for sitting in on drums for us today.
Thanks, Jacob.
Thank you, Jacob.
Come on, people. Show them gratitude here.
He's doing double duty today.
All right, so we have Ms. Carrie Kugler singing That Good Thing by Aaron McGugan.
McGowan.
That's what I said.
McGowan.
I need new contacts, people.
Yeah.
You've got to be the light.
Oh, sorry.
You got to be the light if you want to see the light. You got to be the light if you want to see the light. You've got to be the light if you want to see the light. Because you reap what you sow, you meet what you know, and you see what you believe. So give a little bit of that good thing if you want to receive. You've got to be the love if you want to see the love. You've got to be the love if you want to see the love. Because you reap what you sow, you meet what you know, and you see what you believe. Give a little bit of that good thing if you want to receive. Give a little bit of that good thing if you want to receive. Don't tell me that your life is a desert. Somebody gotta quench your thirst. You can dance, you can pray for the water, but you better get your head straight first. You've got to be the light if you want to see the light. You've got to be the light if you want to see the light. Because you reap what you sow, you meet what you know, and you see what you believe. So give a little bit of that good thing if you want to receive. Give a little bit of that good thing if you want to receive.
Give a little bit of that good thing. Give a little bit of that good.
Give a little bit of that good, good, good thing.
Give a little bit of that good thing. Give a little bit of that good thing. Give a little bit of that good thing. Give a little bit of that good thing.
Give a little bit of that good thing. Give a little bit of that good thing.
Give a little bit of that good thing if you want to receive.
I wanted to make sure that you guys couldn't miss me today. Good morning. Welcome back, you guys. Where have you all been for the last few weeks? Oh, my gosh. It's so good to be back, and thank you, Carrie, always. You bring such an incredible joy when you get up here and sing, so thank you, and to our band, always, thank you. Perfect music for today. Also want to say thank you to Dee Richardson and to Reverend Pat McClellan for filling in while I was gone, and how wonderful that we have such incredible talent within our own spiritual community that we can pull from here, so thank you to both of them. You may have noticed that there have been people running out here. The Bass Pro marathon, half marathon, 5K is today. And the reason that I mention that is because our own 90-year-old G. Stiles is in the 5K this morning, and our 81-year-old Dwayne Koppler is doing a half marathon today. So yay for them. You know, it's always like I look at them and I'm like, I want to be you when I reach that age. So they're really such a great example for us, aren't they? Yeah, it's a wonderful, wonderful thing. And while I was gone, I was so thrilled to see that we got approved for our cold weather shelter. How wonderful is that? Huge, huge shout out to Lisa Landrigan, Mary Hilsebeck-Huber, and James Masters. I know there are so many more, but they really have been working so hard on this to make this happen. And also that we got our life affirmation cards, the deck that you can look at. So be sure to look at that when you go out today. I know that will be the announcements, but they're awesome! So James Masters and everybody, and Jessica, thank you for that. I hesitate sometimes, but my husband knows by virtue of the fact that he's married to me, I'm going to tell stories on him. So, and I was inspired actually by listening to Mary Hilsebeck-Huber this morning on the 9:15 adult class, and she was talking about anger. And this has nothing to do with the talk today at all. But But it was if you didn't get to watch it, I encourage you to watch it. I mean, always, you guys, these 9:15 classes are amazing, and you can always watch them later. So it was kind of conversation about anger and how different ideas on whether anger is normal or not. But overall, everybody was kind of thinking, yeah, it's kind of a normal thing for us. So, we spent almost 3 weeks, 24/7 together. We put about 4,300 miles on our vehicle. So we were in close quarters. And it was awesome. I mean, I'm so grateful to have a partner that, seriously, I mean, there was never a moment that there was, any anger between each other. It was just a wonderful journey. And Paul was admitting this morning, sometimes we all have some anger things. And so this is really a lot for the class because I was listening, but I didn't get to share it. But the only time that Paul got frustrated was with our GPS. And because, the GPS didn't always tell you, like, to turn here. And so we'd miss a thing, and ended up one time in Harlem, which was interesting. I've never seen Harlem, so that was a new experience. But it was so funny because he would get frustrated at that moment, and I would say the first few times, honey, I don't think the GPS is doing it on purpose. It's not doing anything against you, So like the third time, he just said, hun, I just need you to let me feel what I feel. So from that point on, whenever he would get frustrated and he would be like, and I'd get right in there and I'd go, yeah, blah, 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 and then we would laugh. And so that's one thing to help alleviate the anger. That had nothing to do with today at all. Woohoo! Yay! We've got the thing up. Hallelujah. I'm going to get my clicker then. I was going to bring it up. Oh, I guess I don't have my clicker. That's okay. So maybe somebody can click it for me. Okay. So over the next few weeks, obviously, we're going to be talking about gratitude and Thanksgiving, kind of because it is the month of Thanksgiving. And because I was vacationing for 3 weeks and didn't really want to work while I was on vacation, I decided to go back and to pull up a talk that I'd done in the past. And the talk that I was inspired to pull up today, and if you could go to the next, is based on the book 29 Gifts by Cammie Walker. I originally did this talk in 2009, and I love the premise of this book and the message of this book. So Cammie Walker was pretty young at the time. She had just gotten married, and about a month after she got married, she was diagnosed with advanced multiple sclerosis. Now, in hindsight, she could see that for about 10 years previous to that, she had had symptoms of that, but doctors kept telling her that it was psychosomatic. And so, a month into being married, she is full out advanced. She had lost the sight in her right eye. She had cognitive issues. She couldn't walk on her own. She was bedridden. Her hands wouldn't work right. And they put her on all kinds of various medications. She was on a lot of different medications. So at one point, she found a doctor that finally just really took time with her and decided that she really needed to detox from all of this medication. So he was going to put her in the hospital for about 8 days to get her off of all these medications. Well, she decided to call a spiritual mentor, and this spiritual mentor is an African-American medicine woman, and her name is Mbali. So her intention in calling Mbali was to be able to whine to Mbali about what was happening and hopefully be met with, I'm so sorry. And instead what happened when she called Mbali was that Mbali stopped her and said, Cammie, you have to quit thinking about yourself, and you have to quit thinking about your illness. And Cammie was shocked, and she's like just sitting there, and she said, what do you mean? My body is a wreck, my life is a wreck. How in the world do you expect me not to focus on and think about my illness? And Mbali said to her, I know that's the problem, that if you spend all of your time and energy focused on what's wrong with you, you're feeding the disease. You're making it worse by putting all of your intention there. And she told her, she said, Cammie, you're falling deeper and deeper into a black hole, so I'm going to give you a tool to help dig you out. Now, know here that this tool that I'm going to talk about today can heal, when I say heal, Cammie wasn't healed ultimately of MS, but her life was healed. And this is something that we can use no matter what is going on in our life. And so Cammie said, okay, well, what should I do? And she said, for 29 days, I want you to give away 29 gifts. And Cammie's like, okay, hold on now. I am getting ready to go into the hospital for 8 days. And you want me to start this by giving away 29 gifts. And Mbali said, there's going to be other people there too, and these don't have to be physical gifts. There's a lot of ways that we can give gifts. So Cammie decides, this is really not for her at that time, but she's a journaler. So she wrote down in her journal 29 gifts in 29 days. And Mbali went on to say, healing doesn't happen in a vacuum. Our healing really comes through interaction with other people. And we all know this. I mean, these are, this stuff is based fully on our principles here at Unity. And that giving of any kind, starts this process of opening ourselves up. And when we open ourselves up, we are going to experience life differently. Yes? Absolutely. Has anybody ever gotten stuck in just being in the pity party thinking of, oh, woe is me? Anybody? Yeah. Last week, yesterday, yeah. So, and if you could go to the next one. Oh, nope, okay. So I may not have gotten that. If you could go back then to the other one, Clay. Just thank you. So, Mbali says, no matter how much we have materially, we are often in a place of scarcity. We never think we have enough, and we never think we're good enough. Instead of getting lost in a sense of lack, once we realize that we're part of something bigger, it becomes clear that we have many, many gifts to give the world. Now, I'm sure that none of us here have probably ever, in the last week or two, or even month or whatever, looked at our life and thought we were lacking anything, right? We're always thinking we're abundant creatures all the time, yeah? So I love this because it's just practical application to our, daily experience of life. So obviously I'm not going to take the time to tell you all of the gifts that Cammie shared because we'd be here for a very long time. But the very first, she finally one day, she had gotten out of the hospital, she felt so much better, and then she kind of went swirled down again. And so she got out her journal to just decide to write something, and she saw 29 gifts, 29 days. What the heck? I may as well try it. So her first gift was that she made a phone call to a friend of hers who also has MS. And she ended up being on the phone with this friend for over an hour. And she said even just after that hour of being on the phone with this friend, she felt so much more expanded and uplifted by just having taken the time to reach out in that way. But she said, interestingly enough, and she didn't know what to think about it, but the universe was in full reciprocity immediately. Because within an hour of that phone call, and she hadn't been able to work because of this, she got a phone call that offered her some work. And she was thinking, is this really possible, that this could be happening? Well, she decided that she wanted to go to a cafe and have some lunch. And so her husband took her to the cafe. She was going to stay there for 2 or 3 hours, and then he was going to come back and pick her up. And she ended up talking to somebody while she was at the cafe. And she realized that she had forgotten her books. And so she decided, well, I don't want to stay here. So she asked the waitress for the bill, and the man who she had been talking to paid for her meal. So she's like, wow, this is very interesting. Then she decided she only lived 6 blocks away. She was going to try to walk home. And so with her cane, she was able to walk that 6 blocks home. Now, this is the first day that these things are happening. And like I said, if you want to get the book, I highly recommend it because It's so wonderful to read. But day after day after day, she kept up with this for 29 days. Now, if you guys have, I've shared with you before the definition of grace by Charles Fillmore, and that is that you never reap the full harvest of your error thinking, and you always reap more good than you sow. And Proverbs says, the generous man will be prosperous, and he who waters will himself be watered. And of course, we know the scripture, as you give, so shall you receive. Good measure, pressed down, shaken together, running over, and oozing out will come back to you. We know this, and yet we forget a lot of times to really put it into practice, to get outside of ourselves, to get outside of this thing right here, this thinking mind that can take us down some interesting roads, right? So when we find ourselves maybe being too focused on what's not right in our life, this is a great, wonderful practice to start. So Cammie said, as she started doing this, she started to expect good things to happen. And Mbali said the best way to bring abundance into your life is to be in a perpetual state of giving and gratitude. So if we could go to the next one, this is what Cammie said. She said, I've come to believe over the last 29 days that giving and receiving are two sides of the same coin. One cannot exist without the other. I now view giving and receiving as an exchange of energy, a universal transaction that each one of us takes part in over and over, moment to moment. I'm also seeing that exchange, whether I'm on the giving or the receiving end, is a divine experience. Hear that? Whether I'm on the giving or the receiving end, because a lot of times it's the receiving end that's the hard part for us. It's a divine experience, what my mother would call a God moment. During the moments I am offering or accepting a gift, the part of me that is true spirit is connecting with the true spirit of another individual. And we are both in that instant connected to the divine force that created everything out of nothing, the light from which we all draw inspiration and energy. And, she in listening to her talk about how, something inside of her as she began working with this practice, something inside of her just relaxed so much. And she started to feel more positive in general about her life, about the journey that she was on, even in the midst of still having some pretty crazy symptoms. And she realized that she was supported everywhere that she looked. She realized that she was supported. And I think we all do know those times when we've been caught up in something and we feel alone and we feel like nobody really can understand what it is that we're going through. But when we open ourselves up to getting out of that headspace, we do recognize and realize that there is support all around us all the time. People are willing to help. People, we want to be there for each other, don't we? How many of us are good at receiving help? I saw one hand go up. Yeah. And how many of us love to help? So isn't that interesting, that we can look around and we can see that we all love to help, but if people aren't willing to accept our help, we aren't able to really fulfill that aspect of it. And it is a divine connection. It is the giving and receiving aspect of it. Let's see if my next slide is there. Oh, although, yes, I'm there. Okay. Nope. Okay. I don't know what happened. But anyway, she said, it's so nice to wake up and be able to think about what's possible instead of how messed up my life is. I'm starting not to be resentful and angry and frustrated anymore. And Mbali said, yes, because you are putting your consciousness on what you have to offer the world instead of what is scarce. When you practice mindful connections with others, your life feels meaningful, and so it is. So how do we do this? How can we begin this practice? What are some of the things that we can do? Well, the first thing that Mbali said is to start your day with an affirmation. So there should be a slide there that says, today I give with joy, today I give with enthusiasm. Oh, there. Okay, we're getting there. Thank you. There it is. So to start your day with this affirmation, these affirmations or an affirmation. Today I give with joy. Today I give with enthusiasm. Today I give with abundance. Today I give with patience. Today I give with kindness. Today I give with a sense of connection. Today I give with compassion. But to set that intention for ourselves, first thing when we wake up in the morning, and then just be open to opportunities, because I promise you, you are going to find opportunities everywhere. And again, we've got to get out of the mindset that this is a physical thing. Sometimes it is going to be a physical thing, but there's so much that we can do from a sense of, and I'll get into it more, but a smile or a hug or just looking in somebody's eyes or just kind words. So just be open to opportunities. And Bali also says, practice mindfulness to offer each gift with a sense of consciousness and intention. So we're aware in the moment that we are actually giving whatever it is that we are giving. And she said, along with giving the gifts, and we'll talk more about this next week, but the prescription is also to be grateful for what you have in your life each day. How many of us practice that already? Probably all of us practice that just being so grateful. And I do believe that as we mature, rather than age, as we mature, I do believe that we do become more grateful, don't we? I mean, I can really see that in my own life, that it's like, we just really recognize the blessings that are all around us, whether it's a beautiful sunrise, a bird on a feeder, watching the squirrels or whatever it is. I think we just become so much more grateful for life itself. One of the things that Mbali said is be open to giving away something that you feel is scarce in your life. And this is kind of a big one. But again, this is principled. And so she tells a story of the first time that they went to a religious science church. Now it's Centers for Spiritual Living. And she said, she and her husband went, and when it came time for the offering, that they each took $1 out to put into the offering because money was tight for them because she wasn't working. And she said she remembered that, give what you feel is scarce in your life. And so she said she reached down into her purse and she pulled out a $20 bill. And that was what they were going to have dinner with later. And she said she pulled it out and her husband's eyes got really big, like, what are you doing? And then it was like, okay. And, gave that $20. And just the way that it made her feel was what made the difference, that she was trusting, that she was giving. And Mbali really does caution, too, not to be an overgiver. Have you anybody here ever been an overgiver? I know I've been an overgiver, where you can't say no, maybe, or where you wear yourself out. And she said, if you're taking your own life energy away and you're overgiving, that is not a healthy way of giving. So you want to, ultimately find that wonderful balance in that. So what counts as a gift? Every mindful gift counts as a gift. So if we go on to the next slide, hopefully, or the next slide, next one. Thank you. So these are just ideas. Call someone, let your spouse or partner sleep in, or do something nice or special for them. Send a letter to a soldier, send a nice letter to a government official. Do you think they get nice letters very often? Send a nice letter to your doctor, to your nurses. Pass out flowers, mow a neighbor's yard, rake leaves, offer to pick up groceries, say a prayer for someone. That is a huge gift, my friends, saying a prayer for someone. In fact, she was saying that one day she wasn't feeling great. And we know the 4 agreements. Always do your best is one of the 4 agreements. But our best is going to be different depending on how we're feeling that day. So that particular day, she wasn't feeling great. So she did the blessing where, may all people be well, may all people be happy. And she said that over 29 times and sent that blessing out. And she said initially she thought that isn't good enough. And then she remembered, no, that is what I can give today. So know that those things matter. That is a gift. That anytime we're sending out good energy and anytime we're sending out prayerful energy, that's a really, really good thing. Help someone move. Pay for someone's coffee. And if we go to the next one, let someone out in traffic. And oh my God, I loved Mary today. She was talking about how she taught her kids when they were young that not to beep at or yell at somebody if it was an older person in the car in front of them, because she said, our reflexes aren't quite as good as they used to be when we get older. And so she was sharing that, at the same time that her daughter has picked up Mary admitted some of her habits of kind of, getting a little bit of road rage. Anybody here ever have road rage? Not road rage, but, road anger. And she said that her daughter called her one day and said, Mom, I'm so frustrated. And it was because she was running late. It wasn't, so she was running late. She got to class late, and she said, and here I am, and this car pulls out in front of me and started going 25 miles an hour, and it was an older person, and I couldn't even honk, and I couldn't even yell at him. And I love that so much. So let someone out in traffic and don't yell at them. Let someone ahead of you in line buy someone's lunch, donate to a worthy cause, bring items for our community cupboard here, give a hug. Oh my gosh, and I was reading the other day, I think it's like a minute is like the hug where people really feel that deep connection. And if you try to hug somebody for a minute, it can be a little uncomfortable. But that really is where that something lets down in both people. Give your time. We have a lot of opportunities here for giving your time to some of the things that we're doing, which I'm going to talk about in a second. Say kind words to people, especially now. Oh my goodness! And as we're going out and we're out, and if you're shopping, if you're going out to eat or whatever, what we know is that people, we don't have enough people working right now, correct? And so I've been amazed in, things that I've heard. I have a great nephew that worked at Dunkin' Donuts, and twice he had somebody throw their coffee at him. And it wasn't because of something he did. Make sure that we're going out of our way to say thank you. Thank you so much. You're doing such a great job. I know that there's not a lot of people here, so thank you for what you're doing. Smile. It's a great thing to smile. It's amazing how many times I see people walking and their heads are down, Put your head up and smile at people. It doesn't matter if they smile back or not. Let you be the one that's giving that out. Give a big tip. Not just because they did a good job, but because that's going to make their day, and it just will. Take hot chocolate or food to a homeless person, and when you do see a homeless person on the street, give them eye contact. Help them to know that they matter, that it's not something that you're doing to a lowly person, but you see them. The Christ in me sees the Christ in you. And I want to say here, do these things not only for other people, but think about the people that are in your life, your spouse, your partner, your children, your neighbors, your neighborhood, your siblings, your friends, your church environment. Make sure that you're giving these gifts of yourself to the people that mean the most to you, that they feel how valued they are as well. And when I was saying that, the opportunities that we have here, I'm so thrilled that so many of you raised your hand that you're going to stay today after church for the training on our cold weather shelter, because that's really a wonderful way to give to our unsheltered community. Now, it may not be your thing to come and spend the night, but you know what? There are things that we need, like we need hot chocolate. We need, small things for them to eat, whether it's Kind bars, or I noticed there's applesauce in there, and various things like that. We definitely need gloves, is what I'm understanding. We have a lot of hats. But always blankets. I think most of us can afford to go someplace and buy a blanket for $10 and know that it's going to keep somebody warm overnight. And then again, we do have our community cabinet here. We always are not in need of, I don't want to say that, but open to donations for our community cabinet. I want to share with you a story that somebody told me that went to church, or she now lives in Branson. But she had come to a workshop that my friend Terry Laird and I did years ago called Good Vibrations. And one of the things that I talked about at that workshop was the powerful vibrations of music. And so she came up to me afterwards and she asked me, so what would you recommend insofar as some CDs? And, Karen Drucker was the one that I said, Karen Drucker, and the CD was all about love. So she got the Karen Drucker CD. She loved it so much, she bought all of the Karen Drucker CDs. Well, she became friends with her neighbor and had been friends about 6 years, and her neighbor went into a real funk and into really a spiraling downward kind of depression. And the neighbor decided to take some time off and to go to Chicago to visit her family. So Marina decided to send along these Karen Drucker CDs so she could listen to them on the drive. Well, she listened to them on the drive. She listened to them while she was there. She listened to them while she came back, and Marina said, I have never seen a transformation in a person like I saw in her because of these Karen Drucker CDs. So she said she comes back and she's like a totally different person. Her whole being is just light. And so her friend then tells her that she was talking to her 5-year-old granddaughter one day, and her parents were going through a divorce. And so the granddaughter was having a hard time. And so she sang Karen Drucker's Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star. Do you know how loved you are? You are precious, sweet and bright, a radiant beam of shining light. Twinkle, twinkle, little star. Do you know how loved you are? So the little 5-year-old granddaughter said, Grandma, will you sing that song to my daddy? And so, of course, she sang it to her daddy. The next day she went into work, and she noticed that her supervisor wasn't as kind and compassionate as she normally would be, as she was having a really hard day. And she said she was just inspired to go in, and she sang that song to her supervisor, and her supervisor cried. And she said the amazing thing about this was that this girl never sang. Didn't even know she could sing. And Marina, ended it by saying, I wanted to share this with you as a good example of how we can all be of service to each other in the most simple ways and remind each other of who we really are when we are tuned in to that inner voice of love. Isn't that beautiful? So my friends, there are so many ways that we can, really take this month of thanks, giving, and make it really about how can I give from this place of more than enough and give out to just whoever I see in general. And I want to close with this by Leo Buscaglia, and you can go to that if you will. Thank you, Clay. Said the majority of us lead quiet, unheralded lives as we pass through this world. There will most likely be no ticker tape parades for us. I can't believe that. I'm going to set that up before I die. No monuments created in our honor. But that does not lessen our possible impact, for there are scores of people waiting for someone just like us to come along. People who will appreciate our compassion, our unique talents. Someone who will live a happier life merely because we took the time to share what we had to give. Too often we underestimate the power of a touch, a smile, a kind word, a listening ear, an honest compliment, or the smallest act of caring, all of which have a potential to turn a life around. That's how big this can be. It can literally turn a life around. It's overwhelming to consider the continuous opportunities there are to make our love felt. So your homework, my friends, is to go out and make your love felt, not just for 29 days, but I want to encourage you to make your love felt for the rest of your life, because every single act of goodness that we give out impacts everything in an amazing and powerful way. And I say to you, Namaste. Namaste. Thank you. Thank you, guys. Thank you. All right. So as our band is coming forward and we have this opportunity to support Unity of Springfield, everything that we are here to be together, everything that we are creating together, I'm so excited for what we are doing. And so you can give through our PayPal at ccunity at sbcglobal.net, download our Tithely app. We do also accept cash and checks. And I do want to give a shout out. I'm so sorry to everyone who is watching online. We're so glad that you're with us, and we hope that you'll continue to be with us. So let's take either your gift or the energy of your gift, and let's bless it together. Divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. And thank you, God.
Thank you, Sue. We once again have Miss Carrie Kugler singing More Equal Give by a caveman. No, by Karen Drucker. More Equal Give.
We
Sorry.
were talking about her.
Song good. Carrie sing pretty.
Yeah.
Mitch need help.
If you want more love, give love. If you want more joy, give joy. If you want more peace, give peace. And if you want more, give. And if you want more, give. If you want more money, give your money. If you want more time, give up your time. If you want more friends, then be a friend. And if you want more, give. If you want more, give. When you give, you receive. It's as simple as that. There's no effort, no struggle. It's just a simple fact. If you want to see a change, then be the change. If you want to have more truth, then tell your truth. If you want more gratitude, give thanks. And then if you want more, give. And if you want more, give. There's no effort, no struggle. It's just a simple fact. It's just a simple fact, Jack. Oh, if you want more love, got to give that love. If you want more joy, you got to give that joy. If you want more peace, then give peace. And if you want more, give. And if you want more, you got to give. And if you want more, you got to give.